Hello and welcome to my room. I'm glad you found yourself a seat. I've got a lot to talk about today. I'm assuming you're probably a big fan of games since you clicked on the video, and I'm assuming you probably get recommended similar content like this, but I don't know if you've been looking into the game industry at all lately and some of the big changes that are coming its way. A lot of the game designers in the industry, like myself, are jumping headfirst into Unreal Engine 5, and we're really excited from it. We think it's got a lot of capabilities, and we think that it's going to completely change the industry. Have you heard about it? Do you even care? Unfortunately, probably not, because nothing has been released on it really yet. However, in the past few months, we've seen a couple games not only release with UE5, but one of the most popular games has even upgraded to UE5 and are currently using a lot of its technology. You may have heard of Callisto Protocol is one of the games that is using UE5. However, one of the biggest reasons that UE5 exists is Fortnite. Fortnite not only utilizes the engine, unlike Callisto Protocol, which only uses the basic necessities of the engine, this actually utilizes the new Lumen, which is an entirely new lighting system compared to anything we've previously used, Nanite, and other RT modes, on RT meaning ray tracing. Previously, Fortnite used standard polygon rendering instead of Nanite. And instead of Lumen, they used baked light maps, which has been used since Quake. Just looking at the differences here between the different versions of Fortnite, it shows how much of an improvement UE5 can make even on stylized games like this one. Of course, if you want to check this update out, the game is completely free. Most requirements will require a next-gen console or near RT capable PC, RT meaning ray tracing again, of course. Unfortunately, I still have a GTX card, but I'm able to run quite a bit of the Nanite tech, but the RT causes my PC to drag an FPS since I don't have a ray tracing compatible card. So what's the big deal with UE5, and why are so many of us developers so excited about it? Like, what are all these tools? What are all these big words I'm throwing around right now? Could it be Nanite allowing us to have near unlimited polygon counts? Could it be the global illumination changes that Lumen is creating? You know, I threw the word Lumen around. You know, and I'm going to throw global illumination around as well as a big word to learn. And we're going to be talking about both of those. Could it be the new fluid sim system that we'll get to later in future videos? Maybe it's virtual shadow maps, metahuman, Quixel megascans. Maybe it's the animation tools that I'm using to make this very video. Who knows? But we'll get into it. And I think you'll find it's a little bit of everything. Everything in UE5 is a game changer for development. They've streamlined so many possible things and made things so much easier for the artist to create. Simple things like NPCs and character creations have been streamlined with MetaHuman. Or the massive ability to use lighting and emissive elements in real time in any sort of environment. Or my ability to use varying sources of animation to build anything that I wish to create. It's a literal game changer for development. If you've been learning game design or even any form of digital art to any degree, your world just got shaken up in my opinion, but possibly in a good way. Concepting is never easier. Asset libraries have been getting better and better with the inclusion of Quixel Bridge in recent years. It's an excellent and amazing free service offered to all Unreal users, and many other free services and offers, as well as the Unreal Store's free monthly items, which I highly recommend. Make sure you go to the Unreal Store every month and purchase the free items. They cost you nothing and they last forever. You will love them. Nanite as well defeats the need for polygon limits, allowing us to use environmental megascans with millions upon millions of polygons, and allows us to use scans of our own to help generate and create new worlds, ideas, concepts. You imagine it. So concepting is so much easier in here. You can take an idea and create it in minutes with just a few assets, a little bit of knowledge, and you're good to go. UE5 allows us artists to have our imagination as our only limit. There's little that you can't do in UE5. With Lumen, you get truly realistic lighting in a scene. Lumen amps up previous attempts from their global illumination, and UE5 makes it real time. Global illumination is a word that's been kind of thrown around throughout the video, and I told you to remember it. So what is global illumination? Well, let's let's zoom out and explain a little bit of how it works. So, global illumination takes into account the color of the environment and allows for the simulation of indirect lighting and bounce light. If you have a environment here with a window, if you have light cascading in from the window, the light will hit the wall and reflect not only the light coming from the window, but also the color of the light as well as the color of the wall, allowing for the scene to be kind of lit evenly across the room, as if it were real sunlight. Bounce light is any light that hits a surface and causes additional lights and colors to fill a room or area. Some materials will create varying amounts of bounce light on a surface or room, as the rough surface is absorbing and stopping more light than would a glossier or smoother surface. Not only does this create more realistic lighting in an environment, but it also creates better or more realistic shadows with better softness. It allows you to light a room more realistically rather than having to fake it in most instances. It improves inside environments like my room here by taking into account the color of the room. It's able to add additional color to the scene. If we change the time of day to daytime, it will cause more light to bleed in from the window above. Let's first turn off more lights except for the TV. If you look up there in the window, it's pretty dark with a few lights scattered about from the sky, you know, a couple stars here and there, but nothing too spectacular. So we're not really getting any light from the outside environment. But if we turn the sun on, boom. Instantly our vision becomes blinded by the sun, and looking around the room, you can see the room light up with an orangey sun hue as well as a bit of blue from the reflection off the wall. So let's go check out an outside environment for how much lumen can affect that. Damn, just look at that sun. Whew. I can almost feel it radiating off my virtual synthetic skin. In the art industry, we would call this the golden hour. You may have heard it called this by your favorite Insta model that you follow. It happens in the first and last hours of sunrise and sunset, and creates this sort of a golden hue on the environment and anything in it. And with the current edition, which I'm currently running, which is UE5.1, allows not only for nanite objects, but also nanite foliage. This update unlocked the usage of masks to help mask out things like plant leaves and using stuff like subsurface scattering. And that is the biggest change with this update. Check these trees out. You may or may not have been paying attention to them. They are all each nanite rendered trees. The benefit of nanite foliage is beyond beneficial. Let's go back, let's say 2011, to a game that everyone knows, Skyrim. Okay, not that far. Here, just let me skip forward through this shit. Okay, just look at this. Look at this. You see it? Okay, look a little bit harder, okay? Zoom in. Now do you see it? That's what you were looking for. Billboard trees and billboard foliage. All right. Ain't nobody like billboard trees. We use nanite trees now, okay? One game we can look at real quickly, just back for a second, is Fortnite. Just for a second. Check out when I switch between nanite on and nanite off. Kind of see the difference? Kind of see what I'm talking about? You lose a lot of the volume trees usually have with billboards, but nanite helps to keep the environment and trees feeling more real and dense than ever before. And what are billboard trees, and why did we even use them in the first place? Why didn't we just have the tree be physicalized and volumized? Well, in previous polygon rendering, before nanite, you needed to create LODs. And what is an LOD? Well, LOD stands for level of detail. An LOD is a different version of the same model at different polygon counts that are loaded at different distances to conserve total power used. That way, when you're far away from an object, it either loads at the bare minimum or just not at all. That's the benefit of nanite, is we don't need LODs anymore, and you don't need this billboard tree anymore. You can just have a singular nanite tree that it will automatically demolish into a low poly or anywhere in between as your distance increases or decreases from the asset. If you ask most 3D artists how to model for UE5, will be similar to how you model for VFX or movies and TV. It's very, very similar. If you want to learn more about modeling, feel free to tune into my streams, where we will go in depth with that in much, much more detail. For more information, please check the description below. So let's look at how we can combine these two things together. How can we use nanite and lumen to make a complex scene that possibly couldn't have been done before in real time? What can we create? What can I do? Let's take a step into here. Let's check out this place. See, this is a great example. Take this environment, for instance. It's a little bit darker in nature. It's an interior environment, which is great. It's a great learning experience for us for learning about atmosphere, storytelling, and looking how different lights affect the environment and the different colors and what parts of the room are lit by, what kind of light, and so on and so forth. There's so much going on in this room. I can't even cover it all in this episode. How does the environment itself affect lighting? There's no outside lighting in this room to affect what's going on in this room. However, that doesn't stop global illumination from creating better bounce light. Look at all the fluorescent lights above you and all the different candles that are lit throughout. You're not only seeing their light throughout the room, but underneath the tables, in corners of the room, and in other places they're not directly affecting. It's reflecting into other areas of the room as well. If you get close to the ground, you can even start to see reflections in the pools of blood and the floor even. You can see all these things affecting different parts of the room in various different ways, and that's big in part due to Lumen's massive changes to how it handles lighting. We can even look past that and look more at nanite. Pretty much everything in this room is rendered using nanite and are extremely high poly models. For an instance, let's take a look at these walls here. These brick walls are extremely, extremely dense, allowing for you to have tons of detail without needing things like a normal map or anything like it. I'll show a quick demo of how I created these brick walls in just a couple of minutes, and how nanite improves small things just like this, just so much. By utilizing Quixel Bridge, I went in and downloaded a really nice brick texture. I was able to utilize its displacement map to generate physical change on the object in Unreal. A displacement map is a white to black map that is ratioed between white and black, with white being the highest point and black being the lowest point, and anything in between being a value in between black and white. Then, one thing you're going to want to make sure you do before you start this demo out is you're going to want to make sure you install the modeling plugin in the plugins menu in UE5. After that, create a plane, whatever size you want, and ramp up its subdivisions. This will be important later. Then select the texture of your choice. For this demo, I'm going to be utilizing the brick texture that I downloaded from Quixel Bridge. I will be utilizing the ORD texture map from the brick texture that I downloaded from Quixel Bridge. The D in ORD stands for displacement, so we'll be using the blue channel in that to get displacement. Going back to the modeling plugin, you're going to want to click back on the plane that you created and click the displacement modifier. This will open up a new window allowing you to add your own texture and modify it to any degree necessary. These are the settings that I used to get my brick texture to work correctly. You can also affect the UV scale so that it matches the UV scale of your texture. The UV scale of my current texture is at 1.5. And ta-da! We have it! A beautiful, beautiful high poly mesh. Make sure you enable nanite in the content browser after you're done making this. Take a look at the difference between this brick wall and that brick wall. One is rendered using polygon rendering and using a normal map to get 3D data, and one is using a displacement map and basic textures on a nanite object. You can truly see the differences of how lighting is affecting both of these. You can truly see the differences that nanite makes on small objects like this, and how much more real a scene can feel. This trick could be used for so many things. I just showed a brick wall, but you could use wooden floors, tiles, rocky floors, other types of walls and ceilings, as well as even roads possibly, with things like cracks and crevices found throughout. When an object passes in front of the nanite object, the part of the nanite object not visible will be unrendered to help run more efficiently. Rather than spending tons of hours building an efficient wall with LODs or just settling with a normal map with just a little time extra spent, you can create this amazing effect that is extremely efficient. I'm really starting to look around at this place though, and I'm really wondering who lives in this shitty place. Well, at least, you know, it helps highlight storytelling and how much the different parts of UE5 are going to help not only with storytelling, but really creating something concrete and something that feels real. Lumen not only allows you to control each individual light and how it affects the environment. Lumen also helps greatly enhance objects with emissive materials, as I stated before, allowing them to directly cast their lighting and reflections into the scene now, allowing everything to truly be brought to life, but as well as the emissive objects in the scene. When you go in through making a texture, you have the option of making something emissive, which means that it lets off its own light. On top of that, you have indirect and bounce light from other various sources in the environment, as I said. I may have made this scene, so I am kind of gassing it up a little bit, but it's pretty creepy and I really like how it turned out. Let's go back to my main room real quick. The different reflections in the environment have also been improved directly by Lumen, as you've seen before, as well as ray tracing. Unfortunately, I don't own a ray tracing card yet, but I'm able to do software ray tracing with my GTX 1080, so it could be better, but it's not about the plane, it's about the pilot. UE5 has completely changed how I go about modeling for games. As I've stated before, I mainly go for a VFX type pipeline now. I mainly want to focus on high fidelity models. Before in game design, our main focus was least polygons in the most amount of detail. Getting that detail through things like normal maps and decals was mainly the main way of doing things. However, a lot of that detail can just be modeled now directly into whatever you're creating, because Nanite allows for such a fast deconstruction and reconstruction of polygons and tries, you don't necessarily need to put as much time into finding loopholes for situations that you need to overcome. Nowadays, I want to create a model that's easily subdivided and allow for easy scaling for any environment, whether it's a extremely high poly environment or needing it for low poly renders or anything in between, whatever you may need. Well, if you want to learn more about my modeling techniques, as I stated before, check out my streams every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. Those are my days for work, and Saturdays are my days for play. So check out both streams when you get a chance. Make sure to check out my other content like shorts and other short form content in between large episodes like this. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a damn good one.